everybody, it's Cinnamon Coney, your Art Sherpa, and today I want to show you how using the Q-tip method, you can paint this very easy beginner-friendly tree. Step by step, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about this acrylic technique. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's a day and night tree, so we're going to be telling a daytime story and a nighttime story with stars. I think you're going to be really surprised at how doable this painting actually is. If you check the description below, you're going to see a link to the web page, and it's going to take you to the traceable, because if you don't want to draw, that doesn't mean you shouldn't art. And tracing is not cheating. It's there. It's free. It's available for you anytime. I think I'm ready to just jump on into this pretty baby.
All right.
All right. Oh, so gorgeous. All right. So you'll notice here in the original one, I just did this on a very heavy black paper. So if you were wondering, can I do this on a good paper? Yes, you can. But we're going to do this on an artist board today. This is an 11 by 14. It's the same aspect ratio as a 9 by 12. So those of you that are using the printed traceable, just do the 9 by 12. But those of you that are painting along on the bigger one, follow along with me. We have some wishes to put good intentions and wonderful things into the universe. So we've got some wishes for Kelly for healing and relief from pain. And Patty would like her dad to be home safe and sound. Kim is also looking for healing and improvement to her healing. Tony is looking for healing for a little brush that she knows. Brenda, she just wants light and love to anyone who needs it anywhere in the world. I love Brenda's wish. And then I personally wish for art sales for everyone around the world, like a really good discount sale so you can go bananas and buy a bunch of paint. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. So I have some materials here, and I just want to talk to you real quick about the Q-tip painting method. So this is a cotton swab painting method, and we're going to be using these to create our leaf and ground texture. I have acrylic paint out. I have phthalo green, cad yellow medium, Mars black, burnt sienna, burnt umber, titanium white, and phthalo blue. You can use whatever colors you have. I have a couple wide brushes, a brush for splatter, a brush for the tree, a dotting tool. So just a few little tools to make that easier. I like to make sure I have lots of little loose Q-tips and rubber bands to bundle them together. And you can see I do them in little bundles of 3 or larger like this, where they're all level. Sometimes I like to have a little cup of water to dip them into to prevent the fuzzies if they start to get fuzzy on me. Now I've thinned and modified my acrylic paint here, and I'll show you guys how to do that as well. But first thing we've got to do is paint our surface black, which is going to be the funnest, easiest part of this whole painting, right? You can handle painting a canvas black. Minimalism. It's wonderful. So I'm going to take my brush and just drag off the excessive water. I don't want so much water that it's going to be like a watercolor. And I'm going to flip load it. And I'm going to just paint the whole surface really quickly black, because that's just the easiest to do.
Yeah.
And is most like the original, which was on black paper. So when you guys ask me to turn one of my designs into a tutorial, I try to give you the most authentic, accurate experience that I can. Oh, let's paint that all black.
You know, that's what I forgot to do today. That was what I meant to do. I was just...
Yes. If you ever wonder what 100 coats of paint looks like this. For sure we have 100.
That thing gets coated with paint every day we can remember to.
Yeah. It may have way more than 100 coats.
Yeah. Probably.
So you can see I'm just painting the whole background with this big wide brush, just a solid black. You know, and again, you could just get yourself a heavy black paper, and that would be just as effective. Whatever materials you have where you live is what you want. That's the secret.
That's a very, that black just, whoosh, it just.
Yeah, it does. It just gets right in there.
Everything disappears.
Looks just like the black paper did, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. All right. So make sure that you rinse your brushes out, because you never want to leave them in paint. That can ruin your brushes. The next thing I have to do is dry the surface so I can do the next technique. I'm going to use a hairdryer to speed it along. You can do this or not as you see fit. John, I'll talk to you while I'm drawing the canvas.
Okay. So, okay, cool. Man, we have so many buttons going on, as you can see. So I'm just getting my bearings. So thank you guys for coming and joining us. You know, this is probably the most delightful part of our day, where we get to come and hang out with you guys and make art and do this kind of stuff. So thank you for coming and joining us. Thank you for making this possible. And don't forget to use your hairdryer on the lowest heat setting, because heat, especially on black, can cause color shift and shrinkage more in student paints than it does in the pro paints. So just be aware of that. You're not going to see a lot of that happening here because cinnamon's using pro paints. But if you're at home and you're using those the paints that have lower pigments, you can have some issues. Okay.
Did you have a nice chat?
I did. I had a little monologue.
Everyone take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Sometimes when we're excited to do a painting, we get a little nervous, we get a little anxious. So let's let that go. Let's put down any of the worries that we're carrying with us from the week, because this is our art time. Let's sip our sippies.
Oh, good. Yes. I will sip my sippy.
I have my crafty Chica cup here that I love so much. The next stage that we want to do, and it's really important to do this at this stage, is I'm going to put out some fluid paint here. This is like the bottle craft paint. So if you're using craft paint for this project, that's perfect. That's ideal. Don't worry that you've got something different. I have my splatter tool here. You could use any tool for splattering. And just so you guys know, I have a whole splatter video of all the different ways that you can do this effect, from the double brush whack to the different tools that you can use. Don't feel like you've got to have this tool. This is just what I use. I'm going to come here and I'm going to pull this back and I'm going to just add my stars, because I want this to be a nice nighttime scene for our girl.
And you're going to make sure you go all the places that I can't see.
Where?
I'm just trying to chase your
do you want to see me flick it again?
No,
or
you
we
did
get
great.
Okay.
It's just like it's the the cameras are, they're a tricky little group of.
They are tricky. Let's take our brush. I have another wide brush I put aside. We're going to get it wet again. And I'll go ahead and use up this paint because it's right here. And I'll use up some of this paint because it's right here. And I'm going to load it all up with this white. Okay, very nice little white. And then I'm going to come get just on the edge of my paint plop, just a little bit of blue.
Now, you didn't mix that at all. You just dipped and got away.
Yeah. See how it's just right here on this brush? We can zoom right in on that. You can just see how that's loaded. That's exactly how that's loaded. I'm going to come over to the left-hand side, and I'm going to brush down from the top to the... Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it easier on myself because I have a lip here, and that can mess me up. So I'm going to use a strategy, and I'm going to turn my surface this way and then paint this half, and therefore not have such a hard time. Visually, I'm going to go ahead and divide my surface in half. I've got a lot of tree here and everything, and I'm going to just brush stroke back and forth, creating the streaky sky effect. I'm going to dip my brush in water, get a little more of my white and blue, and come back and continue to paint this surface. See how I'm just like letting it be streaky for my blue day. It's an easy technique, and it's kind of nice actually. I really liked on the black paper how the black kind of peeked through. So that's actually, I thought, kind of a benefit little event there because it made it more interesting. Get a little more of my white paint and a little more of my blue. And just make sure I've taken this exactly how I want it. Can you see I'm just dragging across and letting it streak? And that's all it takes to get that daytime feeling. I don't want to overblend, so this will be my last pass. Look at that. I feel like that's fairly where I want it. I'm just making sure all my stuff is where I'm happy. You make sure you're happy. There you go. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, don't worry about being perfect on this division because you're going to have this nice big tree here, so it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure that you've got some blue sky for the side that has the boy and the daytime tree, and some black sky for the side that has the girl, and a nighttime tree, because you got to give them their two zones, which is pretty fun. Now I'm going to dry this a little, just a little.
Just a little dry. And the reason she does that is to make sure that when you're doing the next layers, you don't pick up and get streaks. So one of the things you'll notice is that, like, as you go through here, you want to make sure that's super dry, because those star fields, if you can smear them, and these vertical little that vertical pattern that she's made there, if your brush strokes get mixed in that, they can get it muddied up. So you want them nice and dry so they don't do that.
Because you don't want unexpected color to get up into your tree. Now, I'm going to take a round brush. I'll take a number 4 round here, and I'll go ahead and dip it in water. And I'm going to grab my burnt sienna first, which is this rust brown, right? This is just a rust brown. I'm going to grab a little black into it, just to make it even more rustically brown. And I'm going to start about 3 fingers up. Let's make a dot.
Go down here.
And then we're just going to come up the tree a few inches just with an upward stroke. That doesn't seem too intimidating, right? And what you're going to want to do is kind of widen the stroke on this side and widen the stroke on that side. See how I brought it about a ½ inch both sides?
Yeah.
I'm going to just pull that up. You'll notice that they're kind of getting narrower. As I go, I might subtly make them a little bit more narrow because trees tend to do that as they get taller. Their trunks get narrower. And you can see it's almost like a brown tube. Not hard, not overwhelming, not too much. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to darken a little bit this side with some of the brown. And now I'm going to add just a few little branches because a lot of these little branches I might be finishing up, right, as I'm painting the tree. So as I come here, I might go ahead and talk a little bit that I'm going to have one coming off here. And I know I'm going to have a little bit of a branch coming up here, right? And we've got just down here a little bit below some branch. I don't take them all the way out because we have to put the Q-tips in and you're going to paint a lot of it out. And it's easier to do that after, right? After you have some of the Q-tip tree in. Now, down here at the trunk, let's make sure we take this down. See how I'm brushing this down?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and get some just black. And let's make a long little hole. This is the knot in our tree. All good trees where boyfriends and girlfriends resolve their conflicts should have knot in the hole. I'm going to add a little bit of the brown and my yellow gold here. This is called yellow ochre. You can always grab a little bit of white too to help bring it up. Let's come here on the side of the knot and just highlight it.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to just brush up a bit. And I'm just on the toe of my brush. Look, I'm just brushing up and down. Brushing up and down. That's not too hard. A little more yellow ochre. Just making that tree seem a little more like it's got bark. I'm brushing up and down on the toe. Look how easy it is to make the bark. You don't have to make it hard or stressful in any way.
Now I can pull the picture up here.
Yes, anytime.
Yeah, I've got it kind of. It wasn't sure when we were going to need it, but I didn't think we needed it up all the time, so I got it kind of.
We'll make sure we put that up so just every once in a while so everyone can pause and see it. But listen, I also put that on the website so you could download it and print it out as your own reference. So when you were painting, you weren't guessing. I'm going to let that dry for just a little bit, right? Because it's just a little tree trunk for a moment. That's all we're doing, little tree trunk for a moment. And let's come over here and I'm going to go ahead and put out some more white paint because I know I'm going to need it. And I've got my blue paint here. And I'm going to show you a couple things that help me if I've got this type of paint when I'm painting this type of painting. I'm going to take a spray bottle and I'm going to spray that blue a little bit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, what just happened down there?
Spray bottle. I sprayed it blue with a couple sprays. And now I'm going to take what's called an artist knife and I'm going to mix that together.
Ooh, it mushes nicely.
And I'm going to change how thick my paint is. So I'm going to make this more the thickness of, say, craft paint. Now, you could have just gone and gotten some, Deco or Apple Barrel or Americana craft paints, and that would be just fine. But you can also thin your paint easily with water and not have to go out and get something new if you don't want to. There we go.
Oh, a little tiny bit of blue.
It's okay, because we're going to be adding blue into it. It's not really that big of a deal.
We could just do Sherpa's most satisfying palette knife live.
Oh, that's so nice zoomed in. You're right in it. So you can see that those are softer. And let's start telling the story over here on the night side of the tree. I'm going to grab one of my bigger bunches. See how I made a bigger bunch? It's bundled in the middle. I've made them neat enough to paint with, right? You just want to be able to hold them together and have all these edges be about the same, right? And I'm going to come in, I'm going to start with maybe a little bit of white. See how I've loaded that by dabbing up and down?
Yeah.
You're just going to come here
Oh, hold on a second.
and dab up and down, and you're going to see right away, right away, that this makes a bit of a tree texture. There we go.
That's really nice.
Just a little bit of a tree texture. You can even come down between these two because we know we're going to put some of that back, right? Now let's bring a little bit of a branch shape out this way by dabbing just delicately. And see how it almost tapers off?
You're really keeping those very flat.
Yes, that is one of the tricks, is they're flat. You can really see that right there. And I'm allowing the shapes to really show to create the individual leaves. You can see I'm dabbing up and down. Now, if you have very economical Q-tips, sometimes they can get fuzzy. And one trick you can do is to dip them a little bit in water to keep them from fuzzing out.
Oh.
Yeah, very helpful. You know, the other thing you can do is put them in your mouth and twirl them, but
I get upset.
it's weird and a lot of people don't want to do that.
It's not cool,
There we
man.
go. Look at that. That's all we had to do. It's already looking like a tree, isn't it?
Yeah.
Already very tree-like. Already feeling so much like a tree. I can even come here. Maybe take a little hill. What? Down the side. If I need to turn my surface so I have an easier time painting, I can do that. I haven't really had to change Q-tips, but you see it's starting to get fuzzy.
Getting a little stringy.
It can get a little stringy. I know I'm going to have to change that soon, which is why I always bundle up a group of them before I start. So I'm not stuck getting frustrated. That's pretty fun, right? A little bit of that there. Now I'm going to flip over to the other side, right? I've even just wet these, so that's going to be fun. I'm going to grab a little bit of my blue and a little of my white. This time they'll mix together. And let's make a little dark blue there. That's nice. And we're going to make a little bit right there. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Even when you zoom in here and see they aren't perfect little dots. They do have little fuzzy bits there, and that's just fine.
That's actually ideal.
They shouldn't be perfect little dots.
They shouldn't be, but when they get that fuzzy, you're going to put them to the side, grab another one.
Over-fuzzed.
Over-fuzzed. They get over-fuzzed. Don't you put up with that nonsense. So we're just sort of filling in some of this, adding some darker values. We can come in and get some of that going, you know, maybe right here. Talking about the blue. It's super simple. We haven't had to do a lot of color mixing. And we haven't had to do a lot of struggling. So we're just adding that right there. This is a nice basis for our tree.
Oh, where are you at?
Sorry, I went back up to the tree, right? Because you start to see it, and then you're like, ooh, that's interesting. Maybe put a little shadow under there. I like that because that was interesting. Now, once I have it like that, I can flip it over into my white again and add a defined highlight.
Oh, okay.
Grab some of that white that I have and a little highlight right there. We're finding little spots of the tree. Maybe highlight just a bit and to fill out some. See how we're doing?
Yeah.
And that gives us that lighter blue. And that's a nice blue. Bring some of that lighter blue right there. And I also am going to take some down to the ground just to show it. There, that's that side. That's not too bad. But while we're here, let's come over to the green side. I'm going to grab another bunch of Q-tips. Different kind, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to start out with my green. And I'm going to begin dabbing up and down. I like to kind of come down at an angle and start to like peek the trunk into there. I also like to come over a little bit over into the ice part of the tree because they're sort of blending into each other, aren't they? And that's nice to blend them in a bit. So that subtle blending back and forth, that's going to help you. And you're just going up and down. You can handle this. You can go tap, 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 right? You got the taps down. I'm going to come down to the ground here. Let's make another little hill that's coming down. And we can even blend, see how we're blending those two spaces together. How are you guys doing?
Good. So here's an interesting question.
I have an interesting answer.
If you were going to want to scale this up,
yes,
or down for that matter, will you run into detail issues of needing to increase or decrease the amount of detail you're putting in?
No, you just need to increase the bundle size of your Q-tips.
Oh, okay.
Just make sure that instead of like 3 or 4, you have nice big bundles like this.
Gotcha.
All right, how you guys doing? Have we
Good.
taken a deep breath? Let's sip our drinks. We're doing really good. Look at our tree going. Doesn't it look good?
Yeah.
So, notice that there's little highlights that show the highlights of the tree and shadows, and that's what kind of gives it a tree shape. We're going to do similar things over here. We're going to come down and be like, oh, little branch comes down. Right? Come over here, up and down. Little branch wanders out, but comes back. Comes back to the main mother tree. You got to love mother tree. She's so healing.
I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I can pull the picture in a little.
All right.
Just so people can take a little look at what we're working on here. And you can see just how that shape overlays. Now, this image is available on the website and link in the description down below. So you can always print this out and have this as a resource.
Yes. And you can use the traceable if you're not somebody who wants to freehand the tree. I think you can do it, but if you're worried about it, I'd much rather that you paint and have fun than worry and not enjoy your creative time. Trying to wander these out. Wander my little tree out. Lots of dark green here in this deep daytime tree. Right? Oh, that's looking so nice.
I don't think we need that.
So I'm going to come and I'm going to grab some yellow. Just yellow. And let's come right here and make a little puff of branches down. Very little over this way. That's like a little highlight of sun. And then maybe there's a little highlight of sun right there. That's always good. You can get some white into it too if you need to lighten the yellow. See how that lightened it a bit?
Yeah.
Made those look like spring leaves. That's a little trick that you can do. It's more fun to make than watch it be made, I promise. As fun as it is to watch it be made, you'll have more fun if you make it.
It's true.
Let's bring a little highlight right there. Coming down. Let me see that little highlight. If my stuff is getting too fuzzy, what can I do? And grab another bunch that I already have here. That's something that makes my painting time more enjoyable, is just getting those materials ready so I don't have to worry about that. Well, that's really good. Having some fun making those little stories. Find little pops. I like to pop little bits of color. Look at that. Let's come here. Just because we're painting with Q-tips doesn't mean we can't make a beautiful tree. We've had, I don't know how many trees for the last few years on the channel. Q-tips definitely is very popular, has caught on. But my whole thing is I want you guys to paint.
There's definitely some tree training in the Sherpadom.
Yes.
So if you have if you'd like to go take a swing at a tree.
All the trees, all the ways that you could paint a tree.
Well, there's a couple. So if you go to our website and, click on the video and then click on search, type in trees, you probably find a couple videos.
Or type in cotton swabs or Q-tips. Or
yeah. There's some of those out there.
So many projects. We've been doing them a long time.
I think there actually may be a quick view playlist for those.
I think there is.
So you might be able to go in there and find a whole bunch of cotton swab painting videos right there for you.
Earbuds, cotton swabs, ear swabs. So just making some little grass shapes for him to sit on, and she's got some grass shapes. And I'm going to put my little Q-tips to the side for a minute, and we're going to get back and start making our tree just beautiful, because this is a beautiful tree. So let's load up our black at first, right? As we come up, when we come up into the tree, we're going to have sort of like an ash elm. We're going to get these little black branches coming up. And I'm going to bring this on the tip of my brush and come out like that. And it's occurred to me what might cause me some trouble is if any of this paint is wet. See, it's getting into that black. So what I might do is take a second to dry it, right? Because that'll happen sometimes when you're painting. You'll notice your conditions are different than my conditions. Maybe your paint is still wet when mine is dry. So know that you can stop and make things work for yourself. All right, let's try this.
So, yep, just while she's drying that, just keep that in mind. If you do need to stop and hit pause, rewind, that's why we have all those wonderful features here. So you can do that, don't have to worry about it. But yeah, make sure you dry between layers, especially sometimes if you're doing different colors of cotton swabs, it's good to even dry between those layers because sometimes that can help.
All right, so now I'm loading back up with my black, and you saw that I thinned it with water, and I get it right up on my brush. So the trick about branches, not press your brush down very hard. Make sure you have a brush with a good point, right? Because you want something that really lets your paint flow off of it. Look at that, a nice branch like that. When we come here, we have another little, bring this little branch up here and define that. We like that branch, don't we? I do. Dip if you need more water flow. Don't worry about it, because we're going to come back in and make all these little branches so pretty. I like to bring this up again a bit, and because I'm going to take some little Q-tips and tuck that trunk, as it would be, into the tree. And then let's take a little branch out this way. That's going to support these leaves. So when you're painting branches, here's the deal. When you're putting branches in, what you're saying is these leaves are supported by something. They don't have to be perfect branches. Trees don't make perfect branches. They make unique branches that work well for them.
No need for branch anxiety.
No branch anxiety. Just on the top of my brush. Breathe in, breathe out. You're not worried. You're doing great. Let's bring on a little one up here that comes off and kind of crooked, and maybe it's got a little one that wanders out. Right? That's fun. We can even give this one a little branch that comes off that way. And I might darken this.
Where are you going? Oh, there.
Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and just come around here with my black underneath here, like you do. And I'm going to make my little kind of barky, see, that's like a little barky stroke?
Yeah.
Just up and down. It's rough. It's not perfect. Very rough. And then I can rinse out my brush. Rinse, rinse, rinse. And let's get some of our yellow. Now, this is a good time if your water's gotten dirty to change out your water, get clean water. It's a great time for that. Always nice to go get fresh water. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's put some nice warmth into our bark. So I've just got that gold color that we have, which we call yellow ochre. And again, I'm using that up and down. See that wiggly little bright stroke for bark? We're making it kind of rough. Nice to come around on that side and really outline our little opening. Oh yeah, right here. I think there could be a little bit of it coming up the branch this way. Not too much, but just showing that the lighter bark is growing up. It's going in some places. And these two up here have some lighter bark. Just on the toe, and I highlight just the tops of these. It's not fussy work, it's just important work. And I can come here and I can give this little fellow some highlight. There we go. Highlight some of that. Bring that out. Oh, that's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, everything is always improved by highlights. So let's take a little bit of our white that's left. We'll put out some fresh real soon, but let's take a little bit of our white that's left. and lighten our little yellow here. You can even grab some of this yellow, brighten it up. And let's come and show some of these little highlights. And look, we're going to be on the tip of our brush. We're going to wiggle. See how you can really see it now?
Yeah.
Let's come around here and highlight our knot. Oh, that's... Yeah, that can be beautiful. Right there. Those highlights are so helpful. They help our branches look very branchy. Get a lot of questions about that because people love trees so much they just want to paint beautiful trees.
Now, I will say, before you are too hard on your branches, please remember that the most interesting branch is generally your favorite branch.
Yeah.
So if you're doing one and it comes out all wonkety and you're like, oh, I don't like that branch, give it a minute. You might come back and go, that's actually my favorite branch.
All right. Now let's get some just real quick, get a little bit of the just burnt sienna. Let's put a little bit here, a couple places. Just touch it up. Okay. Create some depth and dimension. A little bit. And that just makes such a beautiful tree. Now I'm going to put out a little more paint. I'll just put out this white paint because I have it here. And we're going to touch up some of, maybe I'm not going to put it out. Maybe not. It was empty. I do this a lot.
Here's our little
yeah, we don't need too much.
Over.
We don't need too much. We just need a little bit. All right, there we go. So we're going to come back and we're going to do a little refinement over here. Let's get our white back on here. Maybe a smidge of blue, but mostly our white. And let's come here and add a little bit of a leaf that comes in front. See, just because you're doing the Q-tips doesn't mean you can't make something special.
Oh, yeah.
Make something really special with the tool. Really proud of that you want to post on social media that you really enjoy. Let's come down and add some a little more defined snow or cold where she is. Because they're in two worlds. And you got to get, you got to get your own sense of this painting, what it means to you. All right, just
yep.
You see a little bit and you go, "Oh, that'd be pretty there." So never be afraid to be like, "Oh, that'd be pretty there." If it would be pretty there, it would be pretty there. I can just turn this over. And I'm going to get just a little bit of my green and a lot of my yellow, maybe some of my white. And I'm going to go ahead and maybe add a little bit of this right here. Isn't that pretty? Those little tucked in bits, they make a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
They make your tree just seem a little bit better than the average Q-tip tree that's out there.
Now, which group is it good to share this up in? Because there were some Sherpettes asking, where can I share my painting?
Well, all right. You can share your paintings on Facebook with us. We have a private group, if you don't want to show everybody in the world your painting. And it's very encouraging and very safe. That's the Art Sherpa official. You can go on Instagram and just hashtag me, the Art Sherpa. And I try to go on there pretty regularly, and I love to see what you've got. It's always exciting to see what you guys are working on.
I'm a lurker.
He is a bit of a lurker.
I like to.
I feel like that's pretty perfect. Don't
it
you
is.
guys?
It's turned out pretty nice.
It's really lovely. I'm taking it in. You take yours in. Make sure you're taking care of your body and your health. It's important.
Now, we get to put some peoples in, don't we?
We get to put some peoples in. Now, you can use the traceable because, again, I get that people can be super stressful to do. But I'm going to show you how I do my people when I'm doing that. I'm going to start with the boy. I'm going to get some black paint. Just black. Okay, a little bit. Sometimes it can be nice to add blue to it. I'm going to come right here. And let's make a little curved line. That's him. And then he's got a little arm. It's going to kind of come down, right? Because he's sort of holding his knees. He's having a day. I'm going to add a little collar. And again, I've got a traceable. I'm just showing you how I build these. If you watch the time lapse of it, you actually saw this happen.
Oh, yeah.
So that's sort of actually how I do it.
Now you get to see it in cinnamon real time.
In cinnamon real time. I'm going to let, see, I kind of went around there because I want some of these little areas to be a little bit layered over him. I'm going to make sure that I have a little face. So I'm going to come forward, right? I'm going to make a little line. And come back. That's a jaw for me. A little bit of a nose. These are little touches. These are just simple little people, right? And again, if you're not somebody who enjoys drawing, and a lot of people don't enjoy drawing, so don't think that makes you not an artist. All kinds of people are like, I don't know, I like drawing. I'm going to come around and make him a nice head. See, I made that nice and big. And we'll go ahead and join that up into his neck. I can take a little time and refine his profile here. There we go. A little refined profile. It's good to give him hair. I think it's important to give hair. I'm going to come here and just add a little bit of hair. I'm on the toe of my brush. Look at how I'm just dancing. That kind of ruffled hair. That could be because there's wind, or maybe he has a tousled haircut and he's put in some hair gel. We don't know. We don't know. A little bit happening there. Oh, that's nice. Now, what is happening is he's got his little knees here. And so we've got to put a little knee up. I'm going to take a knee. And we're going to bring this down. Right. Pull this in. Tucked up knees, right?
Yeah.
And we can come back with our Q-tips to make sure he stays very, very layered. Right. Just get that shape. And I can add or take away pretty easily extra figures, so it never ever bothers me. This is probably the hardest part of the whole painting, which is why I always include the traceable, just in case you're very, very new to art. There we go. And what happens is, for him, how we make him a whole figure is the white lines. This is really fun for me. I think it's super interesting how it all comes together. The little white lines. Oh, and if you ever need to paint any of him away, you just get a little blue and white. See how I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
And you can come in and that's how you erase.
Oh, you just touch up.
You need anything to be different? I'm going to get a little bit of my white. And let's say we're going to have a little bit of line on his collar there. And on his shirt. And let's come down that sleeve. Now he's going to have a little arm that comes down. And then there's a little bit of an elbow. So I curve. What I do is I make some little lines of the fabric at the bend. What's happening? I can come up on the top of his leg and come down. All right. Now we're going to come right here, just forward. And then we can come back and apply the elbow. See how he just came out of nowhere?
Yeah.
And then you can do this right here. And I think it's nice to also, show the leg is bent. Show that that leg is bent. Just showing those things. You just make those little adjustments. I can come up into his hair. Catch a little sunlight in the hair. They're super helpful. That shows that as well. Now the hand is holding his leg. So I wait to do the hand until the very end there. Right, and I'm going to I know it's bent around. I'm going to show the knuckles. There we go. I rinsed out. I'm going to get a little white paint. I'm going to do a couple of things. Come here and just highlight that. And then there you go. You've highlighted that so we can see that now. Now he has some birds. Let's paint some birds. Little V's, little birds. Is everybody doing okay, John?
Yeah. they're really enjoying this. I am too. I'm watching. It's
Fun painting.
yeah.
Little birds are far away, right? Little birds are far away, and bigger birds are kind of up close. They're everywhere. They're coming in. They're friends. They've got all their stuff. He's just watching his little birds go by. This is important because she has butterflies. You can have as many birds as you want. Just make sure that some of them are big and some of them are small, and they change up. And I like to, have some of the wings be thicker and some thinner. It makes the birds look like they're kind of in perspective, which is helpful when you're trying to paint them. Come over here and let's do our girl. She's very interesting to do. And I did her. It was like very fascinating. So the first most important thing I really liked about her is that she was a little bit more kind of bent over, right? Her body positioning was a little more engaged that way. So I make a little curved line. There we go. Just a little bit of a curve. So it's sort of thick. About a finger thick, and that kind of gives me the beginning of the shape of her body. And then she's going to have an arm. So there's the shoulder. I make a little circle for the shoulder. And then we're going to have one knee coming up and down. And then let's have another little leg coming up and down. So that's how we get those two in position legs. And I'm going to do the thigh. So you can see I thicken that line to imply a thigh. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
That's all we're doing. Implying the thigh. Right up to the knee. And then at the knee, I'm going to make sure I bring down a little calf. There we go. Little leg, little calf. Now, I might want it real blue under her foot there, and I'll show you why. I'm going to put a little blue in. I'm kind of glaze this a little bit blue. See how I'm doing? So that her feet really show. And I'll come back with some Q-tips to smooth that out. I'm making sure I don't have too much water on my brush. Is what I'm doing.
I keep missing your brush. It's like it's just one of those days where it's a comedy where like I'm chasing you from screen to screen and you're just too fast for me.
Okay, I'll start calling out where I'm going.
No, it was just I'm getting used to some things, so it's I'm just talking to them because they're along with
the ride too.
The ride. So sometimes when I'm like, camera, where'd the Sherpa go? And it's like, hey John, you should find your wife. So anyway.
So I put her little hand out there. Give me a little arm. One way I always know how to long to make my arms is I think about the elbow and would it tuck in at what would be her waist. And that's how I know how long that's supposed to be. Doesn't really matter how I change or stylize a body. As long as I stick to those proportions, it will always feel kind of right, even if it's kind of weird. And I like that about art. It can seem kind of right, even if it's kind of weird. And make some little fingers sort of very delicately going out. Maybe a little thumb there. It's not real serious. We're just kind of implying a hand. Right. Now, she's got a second leg. I'm going to make that right here. And that's going to be coming down in front. Over here. We make the little calf. We do. And down to where the foot would be. Now we've got our two little legs and all that. And let's add a neck. And I'm going to just approximate a little egg shape for the head. I know that seems crazy, but it works in a minute. Right, because I'm not really going to do her whole face. I'm blowing her hair forward in the wind, which we're going to do right now. Bringing it up here. Pulling that wind out. I love doing this. Arabesque. Just blowing a little bit of hair. It's fun to blow the hair, isn't it?
You're just using the white paint here.
Just using white paint.
Okay.
So far, guys, just white paint, just black paint. These were very few colors. And you could change these colors so easily. You know? Say, oh, it's just blowing loose. Loose. I like to be on the tip of my brush. And blow lots of little tendrily bits. So at her foot, I'm going to give her an ankle and the ball of her foot right here. You have to dry that to really see it. But I've started to paint it in, so we're good. And then same thing here. Notice I haven't changed to some crazy detail brush or gotten really stressed about this because it's really okay. She's sort of barefoot, but we want to capture the delicate shape of her feet, so that's going to work. Look at that. Now we got little feet. And let's add a little dress. Very easily. See, we added a little dress. Little bust line. Little dress. Now, she has little butterflies kind of coming up out of her hand. And they look a little bit like maybe hearts that are flying away. So I'm going to just do little different butterfly silhouette shapes coming away. Now this one might be a little more forward-facing butterfly silhouette shape. Just little butterfly shapes flying away. There's a little butterfly. Isn't that fun, the little butterflies? One's quite small. Can you guys see those little? They're very loose. They're not detailed. They're like little implied butterfly shapes that are just flying away out of her hand.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna dry this just a little bit because she needs a little more paint, and then we're done.
Okay. So there we go. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us today. This has been pretty awesome.
Huh?
I was just thanking everybody for coming and hanging out. It's been pretty awesome.
I love it. I hope they're ready to come back tomorrow and do the next fun and easy painting.
I am. What is the next fun and easy painting?
It's a really great palette knife wildflower painting for people who are like, I'd really like to paint palette knives. I'd like to do some abstract stuff that looks super fun, but I don't know anything about it, and I don't think I'm good at palette knives.
Yeah, so this one's going to pull in just under an hour. We're at about 47 minutes now.
That's
so this is
perfect. Let's do that. Let's get a little blue. See, that's not too bad, guys. You can do this.
This has gone in really, really fast for as complex as this really appears.
Isn't it? Doesn't it? Just do that. Grab a little Q-tip. Do those last little touches right here. So, look at that. And layer. Making that seem like it's a little more right there.
Oh, you just flipped the... Yeah. You got tricky. You were fast. You were just
flip. I just changed the sides, and that gives it that layering. And the last thing that you've got to do is put your signature on it so everybody knows how creative and amazing you are. I'm going to sign it, I think, like right here, down the snow, with my little signature brush. This is a little detail for signatures. Real good. Can't wait to see your paintings, guys. I think you're going to do so well with this. It's really going to blow you away. All right, I'm going to turn around.
Oh, which way you? Hold on.
That way.
Okay.
Ready? Woo! Okay.
I beat you.
Let's look at how we did.
That's pretty amazing.
Goodness, look. You can do it on paper. You could do it on canvas. You can do it as a very new painter. You can do it if you're young. You can do it if you're just young at heart. You can do it no matter where you live in the world. You can paint a cotton swab day and night tree with two lovers having their story, and you can make that story your own. If you like this, I also have a day and night cat tree that's a slightly shorter video. I think it's like 20 minutes. So there's lots of little variations on this. Just know that you can paint. You can make it. You don't just have to watch me make it. You can make it. I want you to be good to yourselves and be good to each other, and I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.
straight from the heart.